G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we're on the map Lipany and we've got a civilization matchup that is as old as time itself, ladies and gentlemen, spawning in on the east side of the map in the colour blue, playing as the French, representing Team Fox, it's Vortex. And on the west side of the map in the colour orange, playing as the Delhi Sultanate, ladies and gentlemen, it's May. We got him back once again. Looking forward to seeing what he's got for us today, and I suspect it's probably going to be a lot of elephants. Of course, anyone who's unfamiliar with May, you're in for a real treat this game, I suspect, because May is an incredible player. Despite not competing in any top tournaments, does very well on the ranked ladder, mainly just because he only plays Delhi Sultanate and just plays it very well. He's the one-trick pony, basically. But let's take a little bit of a look at this map. We've got Lipany for you guys today. I'm a big fan of this map because of its defensive nature. We can see that the cliffs spawned relatively favorable here for Vortex. Gives him a nice little bit of a defense to the south side. Meanwhile, over towards that west side of the map, cliffs nowhere near as instrumental for May. Now, one thing to note is that we've got lots of deer on this map. Take a look at this. And, well, over on the other side, it's the exact same thing. Both of the deer packs connected. It's that nice kind of mirroring that I do like to see here. Even though May's are a little bit safer than Vortex's, I think it's still pretty even early on in this game. So what can we expect to see this game? What do we expect? What do we hope to see? Well, for Vortex, I think it's a bit of a mixed bag of tricks. You could see he's an aggressive player, so I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw him play one TC for the first hour and a half of this game. He rarely adds in the second or the third TC. For May's a lot more focused on the late game than the early game, which is uncommon for Delhi players. Normally you do see them focus a lot on that early game, looking to try and take advantage of their sacred sites and try and take advantage of their gold generation, but May doesn't really do that. May instead plays around the Dome of the Faith. I was going to say the Tower of Victory. No, the Dome of the Faith is what he is typically looking to play around and looking to try and build up that scholar number and basically transition into the mid-game with the ability to research every technology for free. But we check in on the other side of the map. As the first landmark has gone down, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Vortex with the School of Cavalry. No real surprise here. I can't imagine he'd be going for a Chamber of Commerce, even though on a map like this, it is quite favorable. There's not a huge amount of distance between this trade post and the edge of the map, and it is quite close on this backside, so you could definitely justify looking at something like this, but the School of Cavalry just going to be a little bit stronger. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we do see the Dome of the Faith coming up here for May. So, pretty standard opening so far for both of these players. I don't know where we're going to see the first divergence, because as I said, I suspect it's probably going to be... Vortex is going to be spending a lot of his energy on denying sacred sites from May, and May's just going to be spending a lot of his energy on staying alive. I think that's going to be one of the key factors here against Vortex, a notoriously aggressive player, just very good at forcing mistakes, and both him and his brother are very, very good at doing that, but the age ups... almost through now. We see Wheelbarrow coming through on the way for him. Is there going to be a professional scouts? There could be a professional scouts with 4 vils on gold, but 4 vils on gold could also just mean I want to go for a School of Cavalry. But I think the reality is with the significance of professional scouts at the moment and just how often we see it, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. So basically, he has to go for professional scouts because he knows he's up against the Delhi Sultanate, and after this Wheelbarrow is researched, there will be professional scouts, or maybe even before the real Wheelbarrow gets researched, professional scouts will come out from May, and May will look to try and bring this hunt in, and then will look to try and take the enemy's hunt. So Vortex knows that he needs to secure his own hunt, otherwise it will be denied away by his opponent. The alternative is that he just looks to put a town center down. This is when you've got them nice and close together like this, I think you can definitely justify it. You know, putting a town center back here and then just kind of walling off around you can even wall off around this sort of side part here. But it always makes it a little bit tougher though. Professional scouts normally the easier route, but age up coming through now for May. We can see all the upgrades on the way as professional scouts arrive just yet. Have a look at this actually. I've eaten my words right now, as May's actually not going to be prioritizing professional scouts. We did see a recent game with the Delhi Sultanate where they looked to prioritize professional scouts, but it's not going to be the case here for May, opting away from that professional scouts. Now, on the other side, for Vortex, do we see him lean into that? Because at the moment, it's just a cavalry open, a standard cavalry opening here for him. Royal Knight beginning to move forward. Second one is in queue, still with the 4 vills on gold. Keep in mind there are cheaper upgrades here as the French, so you're not paying that full 100% price. I think, what is it, 65, 70%, somewhere in that region. You do pay that little discounted rate. I don't know how we could possibly see it in the game, though. I don't think there's any real way to translate it. This is 50 and 100. I guess this is an eco-tech, whereas the textile upgrade is not. It's a 35% reduction, because that upgrade should normally cost 100 gold. But Knight now on that north side of the map forces those vills back, and he brings them back out immediately and just says, hey, I don't mind coming out here. But we do see the Ghazi Raider together with the Scholar are going to try and look to defend this position. Shouldn't have too many problems for May. Now, the second Ghazi Raider has come out as well, and you can see he's got the Scholar inside the stable. He's going to look to be getting, or look to start spamming out those Ghazi Raiders early on in this game. I'm curious about the timing that he's going to be looking here for the Castle Age, because it can be difficult against a one-base player to find that opportunity. But it'll naturally mean he should be able to counter most of the things Vortex throws at him, and Vortex might actually have to head into Spears himself, because have a look at the amount of Ghazi Raiders that are out here. Third one now going to arrive for him, and a little bit of a miss micro rather there from May, not paying attention as that third Knight did come in. He's got to be careful not to get surrounded on this back line. You can see once again he manages to bring his Knights on top of the enemy Ghazi Raider, but fortunately gets out alive. Vill's going to be backed out here for the moment. How are we doing on Sanctity? Let's have a look. 40 seconds to go. And there's the racks now going to get thrown down for May. So May going to be moving into that classic feudal age combo, the Ghazi Raider together with the Spearman. Now riding back on board with Vortex. Let's check in with him and see how he's doing, as we do have an outpost together with the mill coming down, so not going to be moving into professional scouts at all. Instead saying, you know what, I'm just going to take the aggressive approach here, and that is going to serve as my that's going to serve as my way to secure the deer, which is definitely a smart call here, playing as the French, a notoriously aggressive civilization opening up with the School of Cavalry. Of course, the School of Cavalry going to be training faster. And have a look at this. We've actually got a double stable now coming through for Vortex. So more and more Knights going to be coming out. One of the things to note is that with the Knights, you're going to be very mobile with these units. However, you can't really take a direct engagement against the Spears once they get going. And they do have the Scholar inside the barracks, so they are well and truly going to get going very, very soon. Where are the food resources at the moment for May? So 8 vills over here, and then he's got another 9 vills under the town center. Looks like quite a few sheep. He's got 16 sheep. That's a huge amount of sheep compared to Vortex. Tell you what, that's one of the things that we missed early on in this game. A massive amount of sheep going the way of May. And that was only a single scout opening for both of them, so very, very happy May will be with that scouting route. Nice little wall coming down here as well, looking just to secure up this gold mine and avoid getting attacked in onto the wood line. Knights rounding the backside of the base. Does May see it? May sees nothing at the moment. Beginning to move forward now. Keep in mind, May does have multiple scholars on the field at the moment. Up to 6 scholars. He's been training them the entire time. Just the 2 vills on gold. Been trickling in enough resources to get those. And now professional scouts will be on the way for him. Has he... Yeah, so he's literally got every other upgrade. And it's professional scouts that's going to be the last one in. Once again, Knights now rounding into the base. A single Spearman, going to be the only one here to defend it. Second Spearman now comes out. Those 2 vills are going to run to the other side of the wall. He's going to try and get there. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, Ghazi Raider is going to look to try and chase away. The vill survives. Somehow, some way, he gets through to the other side. Didn't lose any vills on this side either. Still at 0 for 0 for the villager losses. Very well played here by May. And we ride back on board with him as he looks to begin capturing his first sacred site. Second one in the north here. Looks like the Scholar about to be taken out. There was a whole bunch of Knights on the way towards him, but the first one is probably going to be sufficient in taking out this Scholar. You can see he's having a little bit of trouble tracking it through the stealth forest, but the Ghazi Raiders come out, get their charges off. He's going to be careful about taking the fight, but have a look at the numbers here. They're pretty decent for May, but he's got to have both hands talking to each other. Meanwhile, on the south side, the wall comes up in the center of the map. The Spears looking to try and guarantee safety on this sacred side, at least for the moment. A couple little angles you can see he's actually just figured out that he needs to wall off himself. And Vortex is slowly getting edged out on this map. 8 vills now coming through. Double archery range being dropped down as well for Vortex. And naturally this means he's looking to play aggressive in the feudal age. Not looking to go up to the castle age just yet, because it's quite a common thing where players will just play stable only in the feudal age, avoid that direct fight, just try and keep mobile with their knights and then go Castle Age. Sometimes we'll see them go into the Royal Institute, but that's not going to be the case here. Instead, Vortex opting for double archery range. So looking to stay a little bit longer. Meanwhile, on the side of May, how many sacred sites have we got so far? We've got one. Second one not yet contested. Now, we did have a scholar out here before. I don't know exactly where that scholar's walked off to. Potentially back to base as these knights, he still struggles with them. Wall's going to be looking to come up over on the north side of the map here as well for May. So he is starting to slowly secure his territory. We'll check back in. Down to that south side, it seems almost impossible for him to capture this sacred site. It feels so far away just with the natural terrain, the way that that's going to work. So I think if May can pick up that second sacred site, he'll be happy with that. And typically just avoid capturing that third one. Well, not avoid capturing it, but avoid securing it. That's going to be really hard to control that one. And we'll ride back on, or we'll check in with that little sacred site to the south and try and analyze that a little bit more. But for the moment, he's going to look to try and chase around these knights. There's still quite a few of them behind enemy lines, and Vortex now will check in with him as that army is starting to build up in the main base. Sacred site number 2 has been captured. That's the gold starting to trickle through for May. Professional scouts now coming in as well. He's only got the one scout out at the moment, so might not even be looking to rely on it. Spear's going to be coming down here for a bit of a catch. He could have just intercepted with the spears himself, but instead just going to try and get that wall up. And you can see that up towards the north side, he'd walled it off pretty much completely. Meanwhile, back towards the middle, it looks like that's going to be the Knights' route out of the situation. So this sacred site towards the south, I think it's going to be really difficult for him to hold this. This is basically the best route that he's got through, is through this gate in the middle. But yeah, it feels a very long way away from the base. There's the House of Learning coming down now. 11 minutes, 40 seconds. A little bit later than what you'd normally see for the Delhi Sultan, especially for May. But still a decent timing here. And it looks like for Vortex, he's at the very least about 60 seconds behind where his opponent is. Yeah, you can see about a minute behind on where he would be. But the question's going to be about whether he actually goes for that Castle Age timing. He would have scouted it out. Yeah, he's got a scout here with his troops, so he would have scouted out this House of Learning. Doesn't actually look to dive in and contest this, though. Hold on. Yeah, he spotted it. He definitely spotted it, so there must have been units here to defend it. We didn't actually see, but Sacred Site in the center has now been neutralized. More Ghazi Raiders from the north looking to close the gap. And now, Ghazi Raider Spearmen, a beautiful combo. Vil's going to be having to make a run here. But he might have to think about moving into archers of his own as the Castle Age comes through. Keep in mind, now that May has reached the Castle Age, it's going to mean that you're more likely to see Lancers coming out, Men-at-Arms coming out, and the spear number is starting to build. We've got the honed blades on the way through for him. Nice little Men-at-Arm upgrade. And now relics are being picked up. That's the first Vil of the game going down right there. Men-at-Arms is out. No ranged armor just yet. He's only got melee armor, and he's going to get caught out of position, going down very, very quickly to all the knights. Down on half health there. Meanwhile, more units up towards that top side. Knight actually finding a good connection here. Does have the textiles upgrade, so it means he'll be okay for this Vil. He's going to run over to the ball. Probably not the wisest move, but have a look at this. All of the troops now moving towards this top side. But this could be a great bait. This could be a huge bait. He can just move to the other side of the wall. It's not completely built yet. A little bit of a mistake from him, trying his best to outrun, or not even outrun these Vils, but trying to get ahead of these Vils. Ghazi Raiders come through. He knows he's going to have to sacrifice the Ghazi Raiders if he wants to actually keep these Vils alive. He knows how important it is. The Vil count going to start to drop. Look at this. It's already at 8 difference between these two. He's going to try and get to the other side, then get the repair through for this wall, and then bring the rest of his army out, or at least he should be looking to bring the rest of his army out. Otherwise, he can try and do a little bit of a swing around to the bottom side, or maybe come up to the top. You can see that wall. It's going to be burned down very quickly there, just even by a single knight. I don't know why he gave up so quickly. I mean, 4 or 5 knights could have sieged through that in 1 or 2 torches. He would have been easily able to chase down those knights and just close it out. But he's going to send a couple archers over instead and look to clean it up. Meanwhile, on the south side, Relic's getting picked up. May looking like he might be in trouble. Vortex definitely putting on the pain early on in this game. 76 population against 93. So has a nice little lead here. Archer numbers building. He's got that +1 ranged attack through. +1 ranged armor not yet through for our Delhi Sultanate player. It's got a little bit to go. Meanwhile, over towards that east side, we see these Vils happily gathering up every single bit of berry they can. Knight has worked its way through those walls, and Vortex is putting the pressure on. He's up for 12 villagers now. Now, keep in mind, he is playing the French, so he does have faster creating or training villagers. So that's going to be a component of it, but he's also taken out 6 workers this game. which is a nice round number so far. Archers have gotten the call to move over to the other side of the map. He says, you know what, we'll leave these vills. They're absolutely fine. We'll permit them to stay. And now, underneath the town center, he's going to try and commit to a fight. Lancers together with the men-at-arms and a Ghazi Raider or two. Going to be enough to hold him for the moment. No battering rams in sight. Do we have... Where's the siege engineering? Let me double check and see. Have we got siege engineering through? It's not through yet. He's instead opting to go into iron undermesh now, which makes sense, right? There's no ranged units out from the enemy yet, so you don't go into iron undermesh. Once you start seeing those archers added in, then that's when you can consider it. But now, speaking of archers, those archers manage to once again catch sight. Look at the routing that he's got in here. Come to the other side, build the wall, and then escape. And it's very well routed here by him, but I don't know whether he's actually going to be able to make it up in time. It looks like he's instead just going to lose those vills out, despite wanting to get the wall up. And speaking of vills, May just getting run around like an absolute, I was going to say like a freight train, but I don't know how much running freight trains actually do. Men-at-arms going to make their way to the front. Keep in mind, the upgrades are still not yet through for these Vortex soldiers. Ranged armor only just coming in. Obviously not yet castle age either, so it means that these men-at-arms should be pretty decent in their defense up against these archers. But the town center once again going to fire on the knights. They're going to be the biggest challenge that he's got in this game. More units rallying in. They're rallying to the top side of the base. He's taken out these vills, where you can see because the walls are incomplete still. He's lost 14 so far, May. And he's down 21 workers. Looks like a little bit of a surround coming through. May going to try and take out some knights. Seeing if he can actually do a bit of frontlining here, and have a look at this. Oh, now, oh, you made him angry. You made him angry. Look how fast this war elephant is. What is going on with the war? Oh, did you see that? Hold on. Do war elephants have charge? It was charge. It was charging. Oh, Lord, he was coming. 1.31 movement speed. That's quick. That's almost enough to charge down your archer. I think, you know, it's kind of wild, but I can't imagine that the year 2025 is the year I find out that elephants actually have the charge ability like a knight would. That's kind of wild, but I guess it makes sense. But then it also doesn't make sense that cataphracts don't have them, but then I guess it kind of does because they've got all that big armor. But I guess if you can justify that, then I don't know. How do you justify an elephant having charge? It looked very scary, though. I'll say that much. How have I never seen that before? Well, maybe I've just seen it. I've just never really noticed or cared enough to notice. But now I care. I care about charging elephants because I care about, you know, we care about surcharges all the time. But have a look at this. Meanwhile, back towards that top side of the base. Spearman numbers are still building. He's up to 10 spearmen at the moment, May. The biggest trouble he's going to have right now is how far behind he is on the economy front. 78 versus 95 on population. A huge component of that is going to be your economic population. 64 against 42. 65 against 42. Now, granted, he's got the one sacred site. Now, granted, he's got the 4 relics. But that's not going to be enough to make it up. I mean, to be fair, it's not a bad amount. Like, it's still decent. 4 relics. That's equal to almost 10 vills. And the sacred site, that's like 3 vills. So you're talking 11 vills there. So already you're back up to like 53, 66 versus 53. Now, your enemy's probably going to be able to sneak this relic, so that brings down your difference a pretty significant amount as well. But we can still see this chase going on to the south side. He doesn't want to throw away the archers just yet. The men-at-arms still looking to chase them around, and up towards the top side. Just a couple of spears, unfortunately. Not going to be able to deal with these knights as they round the corner once again. Up towards the top. Look at this, just vortex in every corner of the map right now. Single mill, standing tall. Wait, has May still not clicked the upgrade? Oh, you hate to see it. You really hate to see it. When Delhi players forget to click their upgrades. Has he forgot? Oh, he's forgotten everything. Oh, he's forgotten everything. Oh, he's been up for 5 minutes. These texts could have been researched by now, but he's just forgotten it. And that's okay. It happens. It happens. I remember watching Puppy Paw play the Delhi, one of the world's best players, even in tournament settings. And I think it was about 30 minutes into the game where he started researching his tier 1 upgrades. Oh, a sad state of affairs. But look, I think for May, he's been under a lot of pressure in this game. Vortex's aggression has been non-stop, and naturally, you would suspect that there are going to be tolls taken in other areas, and that was naturally one of them. Just hopefully, we hope that he remembers in time, because normally it's something that you do as a Delhi player. You kind of begin to work those things through as you age up. You're like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to queue up my my technologies in my blacksmith. I need to queue up my technologies in my mill, in all my eco buildings, right? Like, you go through it and you click those things. But when you're under pressure, it's a different kettle of fish. It is, yeah, it is completely... It's hard. It's hard. Well, let's check in with Vortex. We haven't spoken much about him. We've spoken a lot about May and the fact that he's down 24 vills. Not a comfy position to be. A lot of vills now moving over onto stone. Could see a second TC, but when you see this many vills on stone, it's more likely it's going to be a keep, especially with the bonus that the French get to their keeps. So specifically that it reduces the cost of archery, range, and stable units by 20%. It's important, right? It's from an economic perspective, it makes sense to get this keep down very, very soon, early on. So he could look to put that keep down in the back of the base. We can see he's kind of positioned his buildings in a way to actually do that. So it would be quite smart of him to just throw the keep down here, and then that way you've kind of got your economy or your buildings already pre-built for it. You don't have to think as much about it. So I would support that. The alternative is that you look to throw that keep down, say, somewhere on this south sacred site, which is a beautiful little spot. Putting the keep down here secures the sacred site, secures the large gold, and then it gives you that proxy for reinforcements if you need it. But it is very out of the way. Alternatively, you could look to put a keep closer up to this central location. But I think for a position like this, you're probably more likely to go for a red palace. A red palace over on this large gold. I mean, to be honest, a red palace right here, gold, sacred site, protecting these two resource nodes as well. Definitely going to be a high value red palace. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Though I think in this matchup, you could probably justify going for the College of Artillery. This is one of those weird situations where College of Artillery might be a thing. Because your College of Artillery, so if we just check the College of Artillery, it produces units which do 30% more damage, okay? And what's the biggest complaint that you see against Delhi Sultanate players? It's that the elephants are too difficult to kill, right? Like they're a very good investment when it comes to your population, because you're only paying 3 population for them, and they are so damn painful to deal with, and incredibly expensive units as well. So here we can see it's 1,000 resources, and they're only 3 pop. To compare that, a hand cannoneer is 1 population, and it's 240 resources. So if we take that, we times it by 3, it's 3 pop, and therefore it's about 720 resources compared to the 1,000. So they're a lot more population slot efficient when it comes to your resources and how much you're spending. It means that you can have a larger value army for the same size as whatever other unit you want to do. So having the potential College of Artillery as a way to do this, because it is going to allow you to have artillery that does way more damage. And they keep in mind, they get access to the royal... I mean, you get the cannon, the Reboldiquin, and the culverin. I don't know why you'd need the culverin and the cannon now, but keep in mind, the French actually do get a unique version of the bombard already. The culverin is meant to be a unique version of it now, but it's one that doesn't unpack. You just shoot it and scoot it, and it does all of its things. So you have, like, normally you have the cannon, then you have the bombard. I think that's it, because we've got bombard emplacement on outposts, right? I'm looking for an outpost to put an emplacement on down here. There we go, the cannon emplacement. But then there's also the cannon, which is the unit, which you can make from that landmark. So you have the cannon. So they've got the same name, but they do different things, and they are different things. Anyway, that's an option. Look, I'm not a fencing expert, but there's something that tells me Paradise is about to have some trouble in it. And Paradise is the name of this venison group, because the knights have now made their way through. Look, it sucks. It sucks, but it happens. It's a necessary component of the wall, the deer. You know, this is, some people look at this and they think that's a gate. Other people look at it and think that's a mistake. Well, you're both right. You're both right. It is a gate, but it is a mistake. All right. Well, a little bit of a pause here, a little bit of a lull. Now, the question for me is about how May gets back on the horse, because May has been, look, May's got a red palace already, and it's only that defensive. I mean, at the very least, I feel like you could have gone up here. Why are you going so defensive? Because red palace is normally done with 20 vills, as he's doing right here. So you get this up quickly. Okay, thank you. Okay, there you go. All right. No. Hold on. No. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I don't mind this at all. You're kind of covering... I mean, you don't really get much from it over here, right? Like, all you're doing is projecting to the front. I don't know if I like that. I feel like you could have just... I guess you got to be careful with it, right? put it forward, bring 20 vils to sit on this gold vein, and then if you need to garrison. There you go. That's my solution. Anyway, we'll see how Vortex goes. He might have some difficulty in securing these resources a little bit later on in the game. I missed this completely. I'm too busy thinking about the Red Palace. It's okay. It looks like we had some quick walls up here and a lot more units than what Vortex was able to deal with as he chases away those knights in the north. But the age up comes through for Vortex. He's got the economic advantage, up 85 vils, but he is behind when it comes to the military side. Now, he's going to look to begin challenging the middle of the map as well. We see a keep on the north side, or rather Red Palace on the north side, and a keep in the center. Keep has come back up online, or back up in the back of the base, which definitely makes sense. Getting pretty good value out of this. He's also got the market that he can delete later and always put a stable in there, but I mean, you don't really need to, but he wants to get this keep up, but at the same time, we can see May is looking to deny this keep from coming online. It looks almost certain that it will come up, and remember, once it does come online, he will have that that extra emplacement coming through from the arrow slit. So pops the vils inside. He's now got that arbalist emplacement. That's going to help him shred through these tower elephants a little bit more easily. You can see he focuses down them straight away, but there's a lot of troops here. Boiling oil, nowhere to be seen just at the moment. I'd be clicking boiling oil here. I'd be clicking my springald emplacement and trying to pop those vils out just to get a little bit of repair down. You can see he's at 3,700. Town Center going to come up as well. This is going to help him defend. We've seen players like Faye do this in the past, where they go to Imperial Age and then they put down the Town Center. The Town Center, with its arbalist emplacement, is an incredible beast on the defense. And we've got the secondary Town Center here as well. You're fighting right now into a huge defensive position, but May does not care. May continues to push forward. Vortex has realized he could be in a bit of trouble here. You can see he's moving into Arbalatria instead. Villager's going to be forced back. He's going to be running into another keep now. And I think at this point, May goes, oh, have I come too far? Or is it the children that are wrong? No, it's the children that are wrong. We're fine. We're fine. No, we might be in a bit of trouble. He's got siege engineers, but I don't know if you'd really want to make battering rams in the back of the base. Let's switch it over to the income per minute. Get a bit of an idea on where these guys. It's always hard. We can't do it right now because we've got vils rotating. You've got raids going on, so it's really not a true reflection, right? Like 1,900, 2,700 for May, and then on the side of Vortex, you can see, oh, yeah, Vortex is 1,600, right? Like it's obviously not an accurate reflection of these two economies at this stage of the game. But I will say now, May has done a good job to pick off these vils. He's taken out plenty on this keep in the center, and we can see this one's going down to the treb. Double treb, triple treb. Oh, baby, a triple. It's starting to look like a triple trebuchet. And it goes down. And perhaps that was part of the reasoning why Vortex was hesitant to put down the Red Palace in this position. Sure, it's nice having the Red Palace over here. You're able to protect the gold. You're able to protect the stone. But at the end of the day, it's going to be subjected to inevitable trebuchets, and we now start to see them making their way through. Vortex looking to put this keep down in a forward location once again, but the trebs are already on the way. Now, does May see that? May sees that. May's going to pick up a free keep right here. Well, very close to a free keep. I mean, there's no guarantee. There's no way you're actually going to be able to get this up against 3 trebuchets. It's just not happening. In the back of the base, infantry still stands by. More troops now going to be coming, looking to reinforce. His Imperial Age has come through as well. He's gone into the Palace of the Sultan, and now begins to siege down the Red Palace. Red Palace, typically instrumental in securing resources in the late game. Not going to be having as much luck here. A lot of vils looking to repair this because, as they say, when the Red Palace falls, the French fall. He's looking to try and keep it alive. 3,600, 3,700, 38. We want to see he's at 4K when it gets hit, down to 2,800. So it looks like, I think that should be enough vils to keep it alive, but he's actually just given up. He says, you know what, it's just going to cost too much for me to keep it alive. You're not really going to be able to do a huge amount of damage in here anyway. I don't like your chances, I don't like your odds, and just gave it over. But we can already start to see vils making their way down to the south side. 3rd TC, triple TC. We were joking earlier about how Vortex would make it to 90 minutes in a game before he puts down a 2nd TC, and he puts down a 3rd one. Interesting decision-making from Vortex. Thinking a lot more about the economy and realizing, you know what, this game is not going to be a quick game. And I can't help but feel maybe it would have made more sense for him to move into that larger cannon-based military. And maybe, you know, maybe that's a significant mistake that we see, but he does still have access to the cannon. It's just not going to be the royal cannon. University now going to come down for him. Have a look at the upgrades that are on the way for May compared to Vortex. And remember that while these economies might be largely in favor of Vortex, you can see he's still up about 30 vils at the moment. He's got the 3 town centers. That May is going to be picking up all of these upgrades for free. Now, granted, you pay for the scholars, you pay for all the tech, or all the tech buildings, rather. Like, you have to pay for your madrasa. But at the end of the day, you're getting so many of these technologies, or all of these technologies, rather, for free. Technologies that you normally wouldn't get, and it allows you to be more flexible in your decision making. It means that you can switch it from Ghazi Raiders into Spearmen without having to do the research, and then all of a sudden go into Men at Arms, and oh look, I've got my Siege Workshop, so I'm just going to start researching my upgrades. Like, we've already got adjustable crossbars that is well and truly on the way. 58 seconds to go on that. He's got 26 scholars. That's incredible, and I guess that's something that we don't really consider when we look at the top there, because you might be down 30 vils, but you're up 26 scholars, that's for sure. Interestingly, Vortex never picked up the relic. There's just a relic been sitting here all game, and that's kind of uncharacteristic from Vortex. Like, you normally expect these Conqueror 3 players, or not just Conqueror 3, right? Like, the threshold for Conqueror 3 is 1600 rating, and he's like 2300 rating. Okay, so he's like Conqueror 4 plus. It goes pretty high, and this is just kind of. You're just leaving money on the table here. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. All right, well, nice little surround from the Horseman on this top side. Should be able to clean this up without too much of a trouble. He's got Elite Horseman upgraded at the moment. Royal Bloodline's on the way through as well for Vortex now. So, going to be further upgrading these troops. We see more ranged units looking to make a connection on this backside. He's also got the Tower Elephant, but instead going to opt towards a raid. A smart decision by Vortex instead of throwing away those units, but we do see more coming up the rear. Looking to try and annoy the enemy. Keep comes up in the back line. Arbitrea on the front, challenging that Mangonel, and I don't even think May's realized. I definitely know I hadn't realized. Arbitrea doing a wonderful job here. We've got the Sultan's elite Tower Elephant now looking to push down on these units. I don't know why he's just not standing and fighting with his Pavis shield. I guess when you're doing 45 damage, what is it? 17 with, yeah, so 17 times 2. That's still a decent mitigation. I would have stood there and fought with the Pavis shields. I feel like you're getting such great value against the Tower Sultan, or against those elephants. Maybe once they get their hand cannoneers. Oh no, these ones here, the hand cannoneers, yeah, they do quite a bit more damage. Maybe you can't Pavis shield against those. Meanwhile, more units towards the north side. We can see these walls starting to really come up like a maze across the map, especially on the side of May. May's maze is getting a little bit mazy. Sorry, crazy. There we go. Triple palisade over on the west side, beginning to move forward. Looking to throw down a keep on this sacred site in the south. And, you know, we mentioned early on that I'd be surprised if May ever once went for this sacred site. Well, we do now see that at 33 minutes into the game. May says it's time for me to take some sacred sites. Arbitrea Horseman coming out again for Vortex. We see this as one of the most common ways the French look to play. Looks like resources have been recently taken from the guild hall. And now Vortex on the defense. I think the focus should largely... It's hard, right? Because you want to take out the spears with the Arbitrea so that the horsemen can do work, but at the same time, you just kind of want to focus down the elephants. Where do you go with... What do you do with these Arbitrea? How do you play this one? But have a look at May just being very annoying here. A couple elephants in the back with a handful of infantry. These little annoying raids. Keep comes online. Vils immediately moved on these palisade walls. And a stone wall attempting to be thrown down by May, but it is just going to be too late for him. Unfortunately, Vortex is well and truly established down here in the town center. A great little place for him to kick off from. Plenty of vills to throw down production if he needs to, and he doesn't quite have the resources in the bank to throw down a keep, but I suspect he should be able to deal pretty efficiently with those units. And speaking of efficiency, have a look at this. Murder on the dance floor. Well, it's not really a dance floor, but these vills are definitely dancing right now, as more and more of them getting taken out. May, 84 vills against 116. Keep in mind, May's got all these upgrades through for free, and we now see the cannon coming out from Vortex, the unique French bombard. These units are special because they don't need to unload or unpack or repack. They just simply fire, and you can move them immediately. They also get bonus damage against elephants, which is lovely to have, especially in this matchup, because you're facing off against the Delhi Sultanate, who have got a lot of elephants. Firing off once again. You've got no bonus against siege with these cannons, though. That's one thing to remember. Mango's moving up to the south. I don't know whether Vortex hasn't realized or just doesn't care enough. I guess he's got bigger problems, bigger fish to fry, bigger issues at home. These mangoes in particular, I don't know how he goes about dealing with this. All 3 sacred sites now captured by May. And the sacred site and the gold is going to be secure. There's still 4k left on that, so you'd really want to try and fight that. Vortex trying to scramble a defense together here. But May not allowing it to happen. 35 minutes into the game, I'm going to have to take a swig of water because I'm starting to lose my voice. Raids up towards that top side as more units are going to be catching it. Oh, damn, dude, that's good. That's good water. That is good water. Look, it's the new year. I'm on a bit of a health kick. You know how it is. Every new year, you look at your weight and you're like, I haven't moved in 12 months. I have moved in 11 months. I've gone up. But in 12 months, I haven't moved. And I think it's always the way it is. And look, I said, you know what? I could crack open a Red Bull or I could have some water. And so I had some water instead. So here we are. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Meanwhile, on the south side of the map, it looks like the possession of the gold has been changed. Now, one thing to note is that May's got access to these golds back in the base and yet leaves them and instead comes for this gold. And this is not something that you see, even at like the lower Conqueror levels, you don't see this kind of forethought. So it's really well done by May to be leaving these resources for longer on in the game, right? We're 35 minutes through this game already. The fact that you're taking away denying these enemy resources, as you can see over here as well, it is impressive. But I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see Vortex transitioning now into maybe even just a couple of traders to supplement this economy. Will really help him out. Bombard numbers need to improve, though. He's got 2 out at the moment. One on the field currently, at least where we stand. Look at the Mangonel. Look at the AoE that it's able to do here. Bro, I'm saying it now. There's no way the Mangonel doesn't get nerfed in the next patch. They have got to get nerfed in the next patch. I'm sorry. It's like, it's going to happen. And probably elephants as well. So you Delhi enjoyers, just keep that in mind. But Vortex don't care about what needs nerfs. He just pushes on forward and says, it's okay, we'll deal with it. Why isn't he firing at this tower elephant? Oh, because he wants this one in the back. Okay, fair enough then. I respect that. Second one now going down. Arbitration numbers looking really good here. Mango still firing off. Gets off a decent shot. Gets in the split as well. Still securing this gold to the south side. But at the same time towards the north. Still, we've got a little bit of a split party up there on that top side. Cannons falling back. Pike upgrade through. Or Pike upgrade. Pike upgrade on the crossbows. How much range on these archers? Let's have a look and see. They've got 7 tiles of range because they've got pikes, but they've also got their silk bowstrings, which is going to help them out. But now more upgrades on the way. Copulation, the gold technology. This is actually a really good technology. They changed these a couple of seasons ago, but I feel like people don't really get them as much as they could or they should. Hold on. Hold on. Whoa. Okay. All right. Vortex at 37 minutes into the game doesn't even have his tier 1 gold gathering upgrade or mining upgrade. I don't know. Like that at this point, that's just an objective mistake. That's not even like he made the decision not to get it. Like no, it's not even a decision that you need to make. It's just like you just get it. We're 38 minutes through. You've gathered like 60,000 gold, not 60,000, but like 20,000 gold at this point. You get your upgrade. So I think it's just a little bit of forgetfulness that's coming through from both of these players. But now Cannon's going to look to try and fire off. He's got a bit of range on these Mangonels. 9 tiles up against the 10 tiles. Cannons fire down, managed to almost one-shot that Mango. He needs one more round to do it. Mango takes out the Arbitration. We don't even get to see the health bars. They just die instantly. And now Vortex, with what appears to be the superior army, looking to clean up this central location. There must be additional troops somewhere on the map. Oh, it's the scholars. It's the scholars. I'm wondering, how is this the same? How is this equal? It's the 25 scholars that are just sitting there idling out that economy for May. Or at least idling out that population space for May. Needs to build those elephant and mangonel numbers. We've seen it time and time again. It becomes this impossible to stop combination in the Imperial Age. The mangonels capable of just quite literally killing everything and anything, and the elephants just stopping anything else from getting close to them. There doesn't really seem to be a way to counter them. And we do now start seeing May, look at this, buying a whole bunch of wood. Buying wood in this economy? Get out of here, May. Buying a whole bunch of wood. I don't know what the reason why was or what for. Maybe just to put down more farms. And if that, maybe that's the case. Buying wood to put down more farms, to get more food, to make more children. That's the kind of economy that we can get behind. All right, well. Keep gonna be going down shortly. Large gold vein with 7k still on it. Up towards this top side. I'm impressed that there is still 7k on this central gold vein this late in the game. We're 40 minutes into this game right now, and there's still 7k on this gold. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. Well, Sacred Site now going to be neutralized. 4 minutes remaining on that timer. It doesn't seem likely that May is going to be able to stop that, at least at the moment. His infantry numbers are starting to build up, though. And keep in mind, he's got all the relevant upgrades. On the side of Vortex, he's only missing out on +3 on the melee. He's got +2 that's come through, but no +3 just yet. And now big mango shots off the back. He's got 4 mangoes. We need to see him go into 1 more cannon. He's got 3 on the field. Okay, there it is. He should be able to one-shot that back line. And now beginning to move forward. He's going to be really cautious, cognizant of these mangoes. He's going to try and make a dive for it now. Horseman making a connection. There's the first one that's going to get taken out. Continuing to push through. As long as he's able to just ignore and just focus on these upper tree, you can see how much damage he's able to do. Big shots from... Oh my god. Oh, those mangonels are going to get nerfed so bad. I'm telling it right now, dude. I haven't seen what the next patch notes are, but I can tell you, we have reverted the mangonel. Mangonel has been removed from the game. That's absurd. It is absurd. Like, the time that it took him to kill the mangonels killed the entire army of Vortex. Like, that is ridiculous. But I guess, man, this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. I mean, they definitely reworked Siege, right? Now, one thing to note is that the scores for these guys, if you're looking in the bottom right-hand corner, the score is significantly in favor of May, and that's because of the techs that are researched, right? But you've got to remember, not every tech is relevant. So, as an example, like court architects will be researched soon. It's not actually researched right now, but when it is researched, that's going to add to May's score, but it might not be a relevant tech, right? Like, it might be relevant for the Chinese, but it's not going to be relevant here in this situation. It may become relevant, but I guess that my point is, it's not pertinent to the battle. It's not pertinent to the game. And look, it's probably not the best example. Let's go with, like, here, elite army tactics, right? You're getting elite army tactics, but you're not making any infantry. Now he is making infantry. You get the point, all right? Okay, I can't go through every single tech and find one that's going to be useless. Okay, serpentine powder. Okay, but he's making hand cannoneers strong. Oh my god. Okay, mate. Okay, maybe the score. All right. Let's look at it another way. The impact that you're going to get from researching serpentine powder is not going to be as impactful as the French player when they researched the Royal Bloodlines upgrade. Okay, so I guess the point I'm trying to make is, while technically May's score might be higher, it doesn't actually mean he's in a better position. It just means he's got more techs, or better techs, all the techs. He's playing Delhi and he's literally unlocked every single technology. Okay, but all right, I'll stop. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'll stop. All right, well, Sacred Site in the south looks pretty secure. Sacred Site in the middle, not as secure, but we could still, you know, it's still defendable. And Sacred Site in the north is definitely going to need some work at the moment, as Vortex has got good quality control over this at the moment. Mango's still getting off free shots here. 1,500 on this one, 7k on this. Behind the scenes, we can see that May has started to take these gold veins in the back of the base. 1,000 here. Trade now going to start coming through as well for Vortex. On that front line, a couple horsemen getting baited forward. At this point, you want to put Vils in the Red Palace, but Wallalol's come down. Just prevents those horsemen from getting in close. So I think you definitely want to try and put Vils in the Red Palace if he looks to try and dive it. But I think he's smarter than knowing not to dive it. Wait, I think he's smarter than thinking diving it is a good idea. You guys get the idea. He's not going to dive it. That's what I'm trying to say. He'll find another way to kill it. Nice job with the cannons. Finally, we see enough cannons to actually one-shot these mangoes, and I think that's where the difference will start to be. As long as you can maintain those cannons out, you can keep your arbalètriers close. They're not going to die from the end. Oh, look at the cannon, dude. I'm telling you, dude. You shouldn't have gone the Red Palace. Should have gone the Royal College of Artillery. Get some cannon spam out, dude. You would have been so comfy. Look at these, because they deal with both of the units. You're able to take out the mangonels and you can take out the elephants. Oh my god, but look at that. The mango, you drop the ball for 1 second, dude, everything's dead. The mangoes kill everything in a heartbeat. It's not even close. Ghazi Raiders coming out to meet these annoying little horsemen. Back over towards the middle of the map. Cannons still focusing down the war elephants. They go down finally. Look how quick this is. And playing as the French, I feel like this is a great matchup, honestly. I think it's really just going to come down to whether Vortex can actually put 2 and 2 together and say, hold on a minute, these cannons are really good. If he just moves to critical mass of cannons, so I think that's probably somewhere in the region of like 6 to 8 cannons. I think you want enough to be able to 2-shot elephants. Then that's pretty much it, right? And from there, you just horseman artillery and to frontline for you. And then those guys are your backline. And I think that will probably work. Because we've, like, going through the YouTube comments on a couple of the last videos, where the Delhi Sultanate is featured, there is one theme, and that is that elephants are absolutely absurd and that, that they shouldn't be anywhere near this strong. But Vortex is doing a good job of keeping him down for the moment. And I think the cannon has a large part of that. 45 minutes into this game. We're still going strong here. Moving into the back of the base, another raid coming through. May just losing vills all day today. May, actually, to be fair, May's been taking out a lot of vills as well. But we can see now the raid comes in. 75 vills by May taken out. Now, keep in mind that when you take out a vill, it's going to take time for it to be replaced by the town center. And the more TCs you've got, the easier it is to replace your vills. And that's why, even though May has lost, or rather taken out 75 vills, Vortex has been able to replace them. He had triple TC for quite a long time. Was that? Oh, okay. It was a keep from May going up there. But it's been cancelled. They cancelled it. They treated it just like, I don't know, who's somebody that's getting cancelled recently? Anyway, that's what happened. They cancelled it. All right, new keep being put down here on the front by May. Cannons towards the top side. He's got, these are the 4 cannons. You want to try and protect these at all costs. And I think, realistically, on the edges of the map, you might even want to think about getting stone walls up. Does he have a lot of stone in the bank? He's got 800 stone in the bank, so I think that's fine. And then he's established the trade as well. But the trade route, it's not really... He's not having that many issues. Oh, Lord. Okay, elite lancers. This is where are those artillery? Where are those horsemen? Oh, he didn't dive it. I'm so surprised he didn't dive that. I think he should have dived that 100%. Surely you would have killed all of those bombards right there. Or all those cannons. He's going to move forward once again. Gets the pick. Still going. Still rolling. Gets some shots off. And now another keep gets thrown down for May. I mean, at this point, I don't even know why you'd put a keep down here, right? Like, it's going to get taken out so quickly. It's almost a bit silly, right? Like, it makes sense to have a keep at the back here. You can use it as a pseudo town center if you lose vills, all that kind of jazz. But like a keep on the front, when your enemy's already got all the tools to take it out, and so close to you, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to force the enemy into a fight, and that's what he's going to do here. You can see the scholars. The zeal is activated on the Tower of Elite Sultan Elephant. Not going to happen though, as it gets taken out. Lances towards the top side, and maybe that's the play. Maybe that's what he wanted to do. Maybe he was trying to force those cannons out of position so that he can take an advantageous fight. And I think that's exactly what he's done here. The keep doesn't really serve a purpose. It doesn't really do much. But Vortex sees it and says, I need to take that out now. And as a result, Vortex gets put in a terrible spot. Only 2 cannons remain. The elephants stay alive. And now the lance is pushing underneath the town center and the keep. Hand cannoneers at the back. The serpentine powder. It's in. The extra little bit of movement speed. An extra little bit of, yeah, it's a little bit of extra movement speed. Hey, come on, that's where your score's coming in, fellas. Scholars continue moving forward. He takes out the last cannon. We've got nothing here to hold. I mean, it was just an unfortunate decision by Vortex, but I think May forced his hand. And it wasn't even that he forced his hand. It was like, it's one of those things, right? When you see the crocodile come out, you have to bash it on the head with a hammer. And the problem is when you're still holding that hammer and you go home, everything looks like a crocodile. And you just start, oh, it's terrible. And look, Vortex right now, he's got that hammer and he saw the crocodile. He just went for it. The problem was, it wasn't the right choice and he got caught out of position. So well played to May for appearing to be a crocodile when in actual fact, he was an alligator. All right, well, let's check in on that top side. It's 4.7k gold here. These are still pretty important, though. One thing to note is May's still got plenty of gold in the back of the base. Still obviously got trade. Gold's not a huge component of his play because he's getting so much for free, right? Like, we've got his relics that are pumping, his sacred sites that are pumping. He's getting free gold in the form of units from his landmark, which has got no scholars in it. Look at this scholars just chilling out. We're just having a party out here. That's a lot of gold. That's like 600 gold every minute, I think. So it works out to be quite a bit. And yeah, still 49 minutes into the game. Relic sits down here. This is 80 gold a minute without Tithe Barns. With Tithe Barns, it's a lot more resources, but and you could have picked this up 30 minutes ago. That would be 2,400 gold that you'd have. That would be nice. Hey, you want 2,400 gold? Nah, I'm good, dude. I'm good. But I will take the traders. 60 gold at the moment. All right, what's the trade economy even looking like right now for Vortex? 17 traders total, which is pretty good. That's kind of where you want it at the moment. Meanwhile, behind this, 3 mangoes on the backside. Elephants building up. Lance is able to clean up those vills off gold. A little bit of a long distance gold gather. And Lance is once again, but have a look at this vill count. Hold on. 102 versus 110. Vortex is maxed, or close to max. 189 at the moment. May 185. And now they're getting to push forward. Arbaletier together with the horsemen and a bombard on the back. That's it. Mangoes, he's going to try and get to them. He wants to surround them, but the scholars are moving their position, you can see. Now, remember, you don't actually counter the scholars. 2 more mangoes to the top side. They're going to look to just fire down on these Arbaletier. Look at them as they dodge, dip, dive, duck, and dodge. And unfortunately, for Vortex, he is repelled. The mangoes stand strong. The elephants still live. And the boiling oil still burns. Treb working it down. Firing down into this keep on the south side. Looks like for this game, this keep at least as insufficient stone comes through on the side of Vortex. Both of these keeps will be going down shortly. What was that shot? What even killed that? It had to be a horseman, right? I thought it was the cannons. It looked like an incredibly long-range shot. Look at the map control right now for May is kind of incredible. Like, looking at this mini-map, it just feels like it's all May right now. Vortex doesn't really have much going. He's kind of pushed into the back pocket here. Horseman going to try and round the top once again. Now, Sacred Site's not yet taken, so we could have had a timer ticking this whole time, and it hasn't been the case. Perhaps he looks to try and take it, though. And guarantee. Now, you got to remember that we've seen players in recent times, instead of going for the victory, just kind of waiting out the Sacred Timer. And it's cost them the game. The most recent game that we casted. Oh, did I say the game number for this year? Game number 4. Game number 4. This is game number 4 for the year 2025. I don't think I said that. Sorry. We'll fix it up. Is it game number 4? Maybe it's game number 5. Hold on. If today's the 4th, 1, 2, 3, 4. First, second, third, fourth. If today's the 4th, that means that this cast is the 5th one. It's not the 4th one. Mind blown, dude, mind blown. This is gonna get confusing when I start casting like 8 videos in a single day, and I'm like, welcome to cast number 63, and you guys are like confused because it's the 5th of January. But maybe that's just when I wanted to show it to you. I don't always put them up in the right order. That's the other thing to note, because you know I don't want to have like 4 Delhi games in a row, because then you guys are gonna be like, stop posting Delhi games, right? We gotta mix things up. But you know, maybe I'm in the mood to cast some Delhi. Maybe I like watching May. Maybe I'm feeling a little bit of May. You may be feeling a little bit of May as well, especially after this game, because I tell you what, May has done an incredible job so far in this game against one of the world's best players, Vortex. And now this mass continues to build. This is like, it feels like I'm watching the Protoss, right? Like the death ball of Protoss. The scholars in here healing everything up. The elephants are your colossi at the front. Nothing can possibly get past them. The mangonels at the back, also the colossi. With cannon, also the... No, that's a void ray. That's everything's a colossus. Everything's a colossus. Not really. You require more Vespene gas. All right, well. Vortex is at 176 pop at the moment. Not a lot of resources in the bank. May at 200 with a lot of resources to spare here. And a lot of tempo in this push as the scholars begin to move forward. The consequence of attack moving right there is that the scholars just, well, they don't have an attack, so they just move forward. They don't get the attack command, they just get the move command. And now Mango's taken out on the back. Cannon's doing a good job, a decent job here. Abbasid firing off. Mango's still one standing. He's going to fire at that villager and farm. That farm has been eliminated. And Vortex, he holds on a little bit longer. Needs to keep this cannon alive. Really, really needs to keep that cannon alive. Lived little cannon. The little cannon that couldn't. This one, this one, this one. Go. Yeah, he got it. He got it. He got it. All right, the little cannon that could and the little cannon that couldn't. All right, well, the defense. The defense is solid once again, but 153 pop versus 175. What went wrong there? I guess it was just a bad fight. Like all the Abbasid, the defense from the town center and the keep, the healing. I think were we just all focused on the cannon? Maybe that was the trouble. Maybe he was too focused on the cannon that he forgot to realize that there was a whole forest. Perhaps. All right, well, we'll check in with the gold statuses once again. I love checking on the gold status just to see how they're doing. Still, this gold vein is here with 4.4k on it. Neither of these players seem to care, despite us being 55 minutes through this game. No one cares about the gold vein. Will somebody think of the gold vein? All right, trade at the moment. Still looking pretty good for Vortex. For some reason, he's only got 5 traders here. That's what it said. No, we're looking at May's perspective. 22. There we go. 22 traders. And now I think May's kind of realized, gone for a little wall off down here, run into a bit of a farm issue. And now for Vortex, moving into Knights. Do Knights make sense here? Yeah, Knights kind of make sense here, but you do, I mean, there's this big infantry. There's just a big blob of things from May, right? And Mango's once again, oh my god, those Mangoes. Dude, those Mangoes are so scary. I feel like you just can't face off against them. And the thing with the Mangoes is you just have to have one good fight with them and you win. Your enemy has to, like, work it out every single time. Number 1 goes down. Number 2, number 3 going down, and number 4. And Vortex manages to do it once again. But I feel like May kind of made a mistake, right? He was sitting down, still needed quite a bit of population and pushed forward against an army. Takes out number 5 and number 6. So I would say that that's a huge mistake there from May. But as I said, I feel like the biggest issue is that for the Mango player, your enemy needs to get the right answer, needs to respond to you correctly every single time. Whereas you just need to hit your shots once and it's over. At least in my mind, that's the way I'm calling it at the moment. I don't know if that translates as well to people that are not silly like me. But anyway, you guys get the picture. I guess the point I'm trying to make is, like, Mangonels are so unforgiving in that they hit your army and that's it. Now let me readjust. I'm gonna grab some water to drink. 57 minutes into this game. It's been an absolute, I tell you what, man, 2025 is the year of the casted game. I'm just gonna say it right now. If you didn't like casted games before, you probably still don't like them. But if you did like them before, you're gonna enjoy them more this year. Because this year is evidently some good quality games. That is for sure. All right, let me take a swig. Oh, that's good water. It's not cold enough though. I'll send a message back to the wife. Hey, you gotta put the tap on the other side. I'm just kidding. I get my own water. She doesn't get me the water. She did get me a coffee though, a little bit earlier. I tell you what, man, it is nice. It's nice having coffee at home. I love it. I love not having to go out and get my coffee. Just go out, get your coffee, sit down, enjoy it, change a nappy. sorry. All right, the army rolls through. Triple Mango. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like every time this army rolls through, it's getting less and less impressive, right? Like the armies from May aren't getting more impressive. I feel like they're falling off as the game goes on. Okay, I'm recalling my previous statement. The armies from May are just trickling in at a slightly slower rate. Let's go with that instead. Knights up towards the top side. Traders now coming out for May as well. How do you deal with this? I still fall back to like my old faithful. Oh, that's a lot of units. Cannons at the back. Nice little surround coming through. Vortex managing to find a way on this south side. Needs to split these up a little bit more. He doesn't have them in the wedge formation. Doesn't have them in the staggered formation. You can see just how much damage these Mangoes are going to do if they do make a connection. He's at max population. He's got units queued up. He's ready to go. He's ready to brawl. May on the other side still 186 population right now. 59 minutes through this game. Vortex holding on for dear life right now. And he's going to look to try and pick the fight. A lot of infantry at the front. Mango's getting some shots off on them. They've got nowhere else to shoot, nowhere else to look. So they just go for all of that cav, and they're able to find success. The reinforcements coming out. And once again, May forced away from this position. May, you've still got plenty of pop space to play with. Look at this, 47 spears for May. He's up here, that's why. He's chasing away these troops. He's got units in multiple places. They're not all together. A lot of vills down to the south, and now looking to hit that trading line. Mango shots. Take out the cannon. He's got no cannons now. He's got one in queue, that's it. This is the death combo. This is it. We're witnessing it right here. The elephants now falling back to cover the Mangoes. Mangoes continue moving forward, looming towards the front line. Hit the obliterator, and they all fall down. It's like the Spanish flu all over again. It is disgusting. Look at the amount of damage that is being done here. The elephants standing strong, the spears reinforcing. The mangonels stand tall. I think he's taken out every single one of them, but the elephants remain. The only trouble is May needed to do this once. Vortex needed to do it every single time. He couldn't get to the mangonels in time. He lost his entire arbitrary mass because of it, and now there are 14 elephants in his base, and he's got no response. What's your response to 14 elephants in the base, other than 2 Gs being typed into the enemy? Like, a single cannon's not going to do it. Your trade line's being interrupted. You don't have the gold to support it. This isn't going to work. He's at 125 population. That's it. That's game. The Delhi's done it again. And I don't see how you beat this in the late game other than doing something silly like sniping landmarks or pretending to not snipe landmarks and then sniping landmarks. It's the only way that it seems to work. You can't face this army head on. Something's got to give. Vortex is trying his best to hold on, but he can't. He can barely break above 120 pop right now. And the elephants continue jostling backwards and forwards. But more and more troops are being rallied in. Bombard's now starting to come through as well. He's going to try for one last hurrah by the looks of it. We can see him adding in more and more units. He's at 87, but no, he's not. It's, ladies and gentlemen, it's well and truly over. Vortex taps out, and May victorious. What an incredible game from May. Keep in mind, May one-trick ponying, taking out Vortex, one of the world's best players. Insane stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can watch Vortex over on Twitch, and we'll catch you in the next one. Wow.